Hi, I'm David Dobson, and welcome to Conversations. Today, my guest is Dr. Robert Opoku. We will be discussing how newcomers to Canada can navigate academic life. Robert is a marketing professor and currently serving as the Director of Institutional Research at Red Deer Polytechnic in Alberta. Robert has a PhD in marketing from Luleå University of Technology in Sweden. Robert is actively involved in his local community by serving on various nonprofit organizations. He received Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee Medal. It's a great pleasure to have you with me today, Robert.
Thank you, Professor Dobson. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
You have been teaching and researching for more than a decade. Why did you pursue a career in academia?
Yeah, thank you very much, David, for this question. And this is something, in fact, I've been reflecting on for quite some time. And, we call something serendipity. I found myself, in academia. I quite remember when I finished my first degree and the plan was to move into a master's program. So I ended up somewhere in Sweden. So the plan was to have my master's and then go back home to Ghana and to contribute to the development of our society. And after my master's, I had a call from the dean of my business school at that time, asking me whether I'll be interested in pursuing a PhD program. So I told him, will you give me some time to think about this? Because that is not part of the plan. And I remember vividly that the dean told me, you don't have time to wait on this. You better say no or yes. And I asked him, can you give me 1 hour to think about it? Because I need to do
Big decision, though.
Yes. And then I said, no, then I'm going to give you 30 minutes.
Oh, boy.
That's fine. So I processed this information and I said, this is an opportunity. And I mean, it comes in once in your lifetime, and having that title, PhD or doctorate is not a bad idea. So, and I'm always looking forward to exploring new opportunities. And then let me jump onto it and see how things go. So I wasn't carved for the academic world, but this is something that came through, and it was a door that opened at that point in time.
Right.
And I said, let me give it a shot. And I think I've never regretted it. It's a beautiful space, beautiful environment, nice people. You get to meet people, and more especially students.
Yeah.
And now I decided to connect the dots. Now getting into a PhD program, I say, hey, so this is something that you're going to be in for quite some time. So you better enjoy it or you are out.
Yeah.
So let me do some soul searching around what is it that will make me click in academia.
Right.
And I look back home into my early life as a kid, and a mom and dad didn't have the opportunity to step in a classroom before. And there was this village teacher who was always called upon, to help me in my homework and to help me pursue, education at that point in time. And I said, why can't I also give back?
Nice.
So me getting into academia is more or less paying it forward.
Nice.
This is somebody invested in my life.
Yes.
And then I also have that, it's more or less, it's a responsibility on me, to also give back to my society.
Right.
So David, if you ask me,
yes,
that's how I ended up. And once again, I've never regretted this. And because every day is new, meeting every term is new, meeting new students, cross-fertilizing ideas, and then taking the whole, scholarship to the next level.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, and obviously your dean must have seen huge potential in you that you're going to make a great professor, great researcher. So definitely a good choice.
Yeah, and I think David, you know this. And,
yes.
When we are in the classroom,
yes,
we go to see the potentials.
Yes.
Right, and then sometimes it will dawn on you, say, hey, this guy might be the right person for this. And we make those predictions and they do come true.
That's true.
At a certain point in time. So maybe that's what the dean saw at that particular point in time. And I'm always in touch. And I'm very, very grateful to this dean who gave me that opportunity to step into the academic world.
Nice. Very, very inspiring. I want to ask you, what are some of the challenges newcomers to Canada face in academia?
Yeah, I know this is something that most academics, think about, more especially when thinking of migrating into a new country. And the challenges are still there. And I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
They are there, but we should try to find a way to surmount some of these challenges. So one of the things that challenge that perhaps an immigrant thinking of migrating into a new country would be finding the right job. And more especially in Canada, we have limited opportunities when it comes to academia, because we have limited schools, institutions. So it's not unlike the US and other places where we have multiple institutions where you can accommodate many academics. So the Canadian situation is unique. You have to make sure that you are carved for it and you have the right steps to get you into the door. And so another challenge is getting the first job, getting your foot into it and proving yourself. So that is another challenge. So now you are in, how do you get to prove yourself? It's another challenge. And another issue that I want to talk about is getting the right references. Sometimes, you think you've done it all, you've been in certain countries and you've met people and they are prepared to support you in terms of referring for you in a job situation here in Canada. But most of the times, one thing I've realized is that, employers are always looking for somebody within Canada that will give that kind of reference. So I will encourage highly those who are thinking of migrating to Canada to build some connections, relationship with Canadian professors in this institution, because they institutions tend to rely on their own. They want to talk to referees who are in Canada. And of course, it's very natural. The person is looking for a job here. We want to get to talk to someone who will get to understand where this person is coming from. So that's one challenge, getting the right references within, and then getting the job. How do you prove yourself in the classroom? Because it's a different situation, it's a different climate, different students, and then different way of doing things. Things like academic integrity, honesty, privacy issues, dealing with students' privacy. So you need to get all these things in place. And I think these are some of the challenges that people who are migrating to Canada are likely to face.
Could you share your own personal journey of navigating academic life? You have done very well for yourself.
Thank you, David. Yeah, and as I alluded to, earlier, you need to start building relationship. And getting to know people like David is key. Good. So, and I want to piggyback on what you've just said. And one of the key ways of navigating through our academic life here, more especially as an immigrant, is to attend conferences. And I say conference, you need to be attending the right conferences. So for example, in Canada, you always talk about the ASAC. So make sure that you have a paper at the early life as an immigrant in a new country, getting to attend the right conferences, because that's where you get to meet like minds, and it's also a recruiting platform to get to know other people. And also, even not even recruiting, not necessarily getting to know what the academics are looking for, because it's a conversation that you need to speak into. It should be part of that conversation going forward. So it creates the opportunity for you to get to meet the people that you're going to be interacting with, in that particular country. And that will make a difference. So networking is key. Networking is key. And these days, one thing that you also have to remember is that LinkedIn is a very powerful platform, and that's where academics and different professionals get to interact. This is also one of the low-hanging fruits. So make sure that your profile is up to date on LinkedIn. And then trying to connect with people, say, hey, I'm around. I just want to, touch base and connect. And then face-to-face is always there. This is very traditional, natural.
Yes.
Touch base with people, write to people. You need to step outside your comfort zone. Get to know people within your province, within the country. Send them an email, say, hey, I'm in town. These are my research interests. Is there any way we could connect? The person might be working on something. You can collaborate and then try to move the needle in that respect. So step outside your comfort zone. I know we are all, you could be a very renowned professor in wherever you're coming from, but it's a different terrain. And you need to speak that conversation. You need to speak into whatever is happening around you. And if you are able to break that barrier, I know it's going to open doors and it's going to create a lot of opportunities for you as a new immigrant professor.
Right. Finally, Robert, what advice do you have for newcomers in Canada?
Yes. Thank you, David, once again. You need to find a way to connect the dots whilst you are in this new environment.
Right.
Once again, I did indicate that you need to step, outside your comfort zone. There are things that you need to make sure that you get to do as a new professor or as a new immigrant who thinking of getting into academia.
Right.
Your best bet is to volunteer.
Okay.
Because people should know you within your community. Who is this individual? So, and what kind of skill set is this guy bringing to the table? So when you get your first job, you also have to immerse yourself in that community. Because, the community will take you to the next level. Of course, you have the student community or the university or the polytechnic or the college community. You also have to step outside because you are also in that space, not just your typical ecosystem, but outside your ecosystem. How do you fit in? So you need to make sure that you know some of the, advisory board opportunities that are available. The city that you are in might have some opportunities. There are non-profits that are available within your own space. Get to know them. Volunteer on these boards. And that's where they will get to know your skill set. And remember in academia, it's not just about, we all know we have the three things that we need to be responsible for. The teaching, right, the research, and also the service. So within the college or within the university, you can do something. Which we can talk about. And outside the university, the community service, you can also do something. So within the community, your best bet is to get onto those boards, share your expertise, be around people, they get to know you. And because, you have to have that fit within that environment. And then getting to know your neighbors, getting to know the people around you. That is one key thing that you need to do. Taking advantage of it. And there can also be, events that are taking place within your community. Get on board, volunteer, get to meet new people, talk, open up, share your lived experiences. And then that's where you connect the dots in your own community. Yes. And then when we come to the internal community, it could be a university or a college, volunteer to sit on boards. Your faculty association might have, tons of, committees that you can sit on. And then besides that, the college or the university might also have some committees that you want to sit on. So approach people, open up, talk to your VPs, talk to your deans if there are those opportunities. Because if you are able to sit on those committees or boards or whatever is in your institution, that is where people can get to know you more and share some of these things with you. And it also opens door when you want to get into an administrative role. So because you'll be working with people, they know you already, they know what you can do, what you can bring to the table. So it's not about questioning your integrity or your skill set because they've worked with you before. And that creates opportunities if you want to move, onto the administrative ladder in your institution.
That's right. Thank you for your time, Robert. Have a great rest of your day, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks very much for having me, Dr. Dobson.